Hi everyone, today's video is going to be all about brows and is especially dedicated to those of you who have quite sparse brow hairs to begin with or no brow hairs whatsoever. I am really into brows. If you've followed me for a long time, you know that they're my thing. I like experimenting with my brows, trying new ways to sculpt my brows, to style my brows, using new products, doing tutorials on my channel with my new favorite products, trying out different brow products and doing reviews on them on my channel. And every single time I do a review or a tutorial, I always get the same questions in the comments section, and that is, what about if you don't have very many brow hairs to begin with? How do you map out your brows then? How do you know where to start? And what products would you recommend? And until now, I haven't tried a product that I felt strongly enough about that I was able to recommend to you all. That's gonna change today. So I have come across a product that is going viral on both YouTube and also TikTok. It's from a company called Mad Love, and it is the Mad Love Brow Stamp. So within the pack, you get the brow stamp itself. You can screw that off. It has a sponge applicator. Some of the product is already on the sponge and the rest of the product is within the lid. So if you need any extra product on the sponge as you're doing your brows, you just have to dip it back into the lid and the product is reapplied on the sponge. You also get a generic spoolie. There's nothing sparkling about this spoolie at all, but it does the job. And you also get a pack of 5 different stencils. There should be a stencil that suits the shape of your face. They are similar but slightly different. So some of them are shorter if you've got a very narrow face, some of them are longer if you've got a wider face or a wider brow. Some of them have more of a softer arch, some of them have more of a pointy arch, some of them are thinner than others, so some of them are slightly thicker. So there will be one that you like. I myself like number 4. It matches my natural brow when I've got them all done, so it does look a little fuller. So I'm going to use the number 4 today. Now this comes in 7 different shades. Word of warning, I've gone for the wrong shade, as per usual, as I usually do. I should have gone for the shade Taupe. I've seen it used on several other people now since I purchased this, and I kick myself every single day because that is the shade that I should have bought in the first place. I actually bought Soft Brown, which although is a fantastic shade and it's cool toned, it's too dark for me. So I'm going to show you what this looks like on my brows, but you're probably going to think, whoa, that's a little deep. So if you go onto the Mad Love website, there is a shade finder on there. The shade finder pointed me in the direction of Taupe. I completely ignored the shade finder. I have no idea why I even bothered filling it out because I knew I was going to go for Soft Brown anyway, and it's ended up coming, and yeah. I can only blame myself. What do you say? Anyway, let me read you what it says on the website. So it says, the Mad Love Brow Stamp is a full pigment, water and sweat resistant eyebrow pomade formula that helps fill in brows perfectly every time. This blendable, long-lasting formula comes in 6 shades. I'm sure I saw it was 7, but anyway, it says it's 6. I obviously can't count. And goes on smoothly to skin and hair, leaving a matte finish. The brow stamp comes with 5 stencil shapes to ensure you can have the perfect brow. Our brow stamp helps to create the perfect brow in seconds. Each kit includes 1 brow stamp in the colour of your choice, 5 stencil shapes, 1 spoolie, and 1 on-the-go zipper pouch. So let's get started. It also has a little tutorial on the website if you don't know where to start, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go for number 4, which is the one that I've been liking to use recently. You place it on the brow. Let me get a mirror. I don't know why I thought I could do this without a mirror. Silly me. So you place it on the brow, really lining it up with the tail of your brow if you can do. If you don't have any brow hairs there to begin with, don't worry about it. Just place it where you feel like it should go. And then there we have it. You've got a little marker on the left and on the right of where you should be placing your fingers to secure the stamp in place. And then undo the stamp so that you've got a little bit of the product. I'm just going to tap a little bit on the back of my hand there just to get rid of some of the product. Just make sure that that is in the correct position. And then just start to very lightly tap that on the brow. Now you can lift this as many times as you like. Look at that. How impressive is that? So once you've done that, you just go through with the spoolie and just soften things off a bit. So I've chosen not to go right to the inner corner of my brow, just because I feel like usually it's lighter there anyway. I mean, you can see this is too dark for my features, but I mean, it's passable. So you can always go back and fill a little bit more if you want a more dramatic look, or alternatively, you don't have to apply as much of the product if you want a slightly softer look. I just think it's amazing. I'm just gonna fill in that gap there. I've got a bit of a bald spot. So I'm just going to place that back on and just fill that section there. And there we have it. It's as simple as that. So then you would take a dry tissue, clean off the stencil, because you're going to turn it the other way round and flip it to do the other brow. But I mean, look at that. That's impressive. It really is. So I let that dry down and then I apply my other products as per usual. So any sort of styling gel that I want, any sort of fiber gel to thicken the hairs that I've got there already, you can apply that at this stage. I did try it with styling my brows and sculpting my brows with more of a brow glue before I do this stage. You can do it that way, it's absolutely fine, but because you're applying more or less a primer, the brow powder or pomade does tend to stick to it a little bit more, so you get more of a vibrant colour payoff. And as this is slightly too deep a shade for me in the first place, it looks a little ridiculous, but it does work that way if you get the correct shade, which again, I have not. So that's it, both brows are completed, and I think it took me 1 minute per brow, and that is when I'm not really used to holding the stencil in place and making sure that everything is aligned before I go in with the brow pomade. Once I've got those things down, I'm thinking maybe 10 seconds a brow and a little bit extra time to put on any sort of brow sculpting gel just to style the brow hairs that I do have in position so that they don't move all day. But I'm thinking once I've got everything perfected, 1 minute for both brows, and I will be walking out of the door. It's super fast. I just think this product is fantastic. The one tip I will give you is do your brows first before you do any sort of concealer or foundation, because you will find that some of your foundation will transfer onto the stencil, and yeah, you'll end up having to touch that up anyway, so do your brows first. I never thought I would be recommending that people do their brows first. I know some people do, I've never understood it, but now I do. So I would definitely do my brows first before applying any other makeup if I'm using this product. I would use this if I'm in a rush. Other than that, I probably wouldn't use it because it's not really targeted at me. I have quite full brow hairs to begin with, and I quite like the process of filling them in and sculpting them and all that jazz, but I will use this. If somebody comes to my door and says I've got to be ready in 5 minutes, I will be reaching for this. I do need the shade taupe though, because this is just a little bit too prominent for my liking. It's a little bit, yeah, it's not my shade. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful in some way. Please make sure that you click on that subscribe button, the like button, put a comment in the comment section, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.